Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Yes, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, Sheikh?
We are good, alhamdulillah. Could you just enable on the other account the screen share?
Okay, sure. 1 second.
And whilst we're waiting for that, inshallah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Everybody, you are all great, alhamdulillah. Okay, so we're just getting a few things just set up here. We're having a connection of multiple things going on, alhamdulillah. COVID-19 has brought out some of the most amazing things. From those is working from home and long distance, alhamdulillah. So we're just waiting for Knowledge College to sort out my screen sharing permissions and video recording permissions. Or are you guys recording it?
We'll be recording it also, but if you want to do it just so there's a backup, that's fine as well, inshallah.
Okay, if you can, I don't know, if you just switch those things on and then I'll just get started.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got screen sharing done. I'm now sharing. Okay, so you guys can all see that. That's fine. That's perfect. Do not disturb mode. Great. Okay. We are about to start. Just give me 2 seconds. Let me move to the other room. And then we're good to go. Anyway, so whilst we're starting, see if I can record. Can I press record? No worries. Anyway. Can you guys see me? Not sure if you can see me. Can you see me?
We can see the screen share, but not yourself.
Okay, that's not a problem. That's not a problem at all. Anyway, so let us begin. So now I'm about to start the presentation where we will discuss a very important topic, which is Forex. Now, we have had this question over and over and over again from many people, and I clearly understand there is a need. Okay, wait. Can you guys see it?
You can see a white screen that's being shared.
Yeah, I get it. I need to plug out one of my, I've got 2 monitors. Hold on. I keep forgetting every time I do presentation mode, I have to plug out one of the monitors. Okay. Okay. Now I'm about to begin. So I need your help, brother. Can you see the word Forex webinar?
Yes.
Wicked. Okay. So many people are keeping asking me over and over and over again, brother, what about Forex? We want to make some money. We want to make some changes in our lives. And that's perfectly fine. that is nothing wrong in such activities, because at the end of the day, we want to make money. At the end of the day, we want to make money, and that's good. I mean, there's nothing wrong whatsoever with making money. It has been my recent mission to encourage the Muslimin not to feel guilty about making money, to encourage the Muslimin to want to make money, because money is not evil. We may use it for evil means, but money is not evil. With money, we have money can be used for good and money can be used for evil. And there's nothing about money in and of itself that makes it evil. Now, don't get me wrong, money could be a fitna for an individual, because they may acquire the means, to do evil deeds. But one thing we have to recognize is that those means it never came from the money, it came from you. And there's a very famous hadith that my teacher Khalid Radadi taught me way back when I was my second year Medina University. He mentioned hadith about a man who Allah gave him knowledge and gave him wealth, and he used that wealth fi sabilillah. And then there was the one who Allah gave him knowledge but didn't give him wealth. And he would say, if only I had the money of so and so and so and so, I would do this of good deeds. And those two men are the same. And there was a man who Allah gave him wealth, but didn't give him knowledge. And he uses money for all sorts of evil and fasad. And there was a man who Allah didn't give him knowledge, nor did he give him any wealth. And he would say, if only I had the money of so and so and so and so, I would do this of evil. So we can see here that what made a person this or that was actually the individual, not the money. We had two people who had money and we had two people who didn't have money, and their outcomes were different because of the individual, not because of the money. So we need to understand that making money is not a bad thing. And also we live in this time where the latest craze, one of the latest crazes to make money is Forex. So we need to know, how can we utilize the Forex and make the monies? How can we get involved in the cash? How can we have the Lambos and the Gucci watches and the whatever, which is nothing wrong having those things, by the way. We need to understand before we continue to understand what is the Islamic ideals for trade. We need to first understand that basically good character in trade is a manifestation of a good character. I can't believe that a person is a nice, righteous individual, but yet he cheats in his trade. He is evil in his transactions. It makes no logical sense that a person, when he meets you, he's nice, he's kind, he makes dua for you, blah, 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 blah. He has all the traits of righteousness, but when it comes to do business with him, he is an evil person. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that you won't find a person who is nice, who is evil. But what I am saying is, their reality comes out in their trade. That's why the Messenger of Allah said that you don't really know a person till you travel with them or done business with them. And the third one, I actually forgot what it was. But the point here is that the travel reveals you. The travel is a great revealer, as well as trade is the great revealer. It reveals who you are. If you are a person who does upright righteousness in your trade and fair and great, and people love you for it, that's because you're a person who deserves love. And if otherwise. And that's why bankers are evil. Because banking it's not possible for you to be a banker and be a good person. Even people who are in banking and know that it's haram and want to get out of it, they feel the guilt and they want to get out of it. So you could say they are reluctantly involved, and at some stage they will do it. Inshallah, they will get out of it. I'm not saying just because you're actively involved in it, you can't have good traits and get out of it. But the point is, you can't willingly work in an industry that harms people and you know it and you're happy with that. So having a good Islamic character is key for all trade. So what are some of the principles of a good character? The first one would be fairness. As in, when you're doing trade, you are fair, you are balanced, you are giving that which is right, the right price, the right deal. You're doing that is right. And why is that? Because trade, a good Islamic trade, is a win-win situation. I win, you win, all win. And one of the traits of an evil trade or a bad trade or haram trade is where one is winning and the other one is losing. I think they call it zero sum. It's a zero sum game. Someone has to lose for someone to win, like gambling. So an example of fairness would be, so for example, if I sold you an item and I knew the item was faulty and I kept the information from you, I'm not being fair. Being fair is to say, brother, this is the price of the phone, but it's got a dodgy button. So if you think the price is good and you're okay with that button, take the deal. That's being fair. That's being fair as a Muslim. And not being fair is exactly that. Also, doing something that is useful. Muslims are productive. Our whole basis of trade is to produce, to do something. Hence why batala, they call it in Arabic, or unemployment, or being wasteful. I'm not wasteful as a spending, but as in wasteful as in not wasting your time, not doing nothing, is frowned upon, not encouraged in Islam. What is encouraged is for you to get up and do something. And we see that example of one of the Sahabi who migrated from Mecca to Medina, and he left everything behind, and he became a brother to one of the Ansar. It was what's called event called the Mu'akha, where the Messenger of Allah made some of the migrators brothers in every way to some of the people of Medina, so they would support them as if they were real brothers. So he was made mu'akha with one other Sahaba, and that Sahaba said, "Look, I have half of what I have. This is my way to help you out." And he said, "No, brother, you keep your stuff. Just point me to the market." So he wanted to do something useful and make his own way. This is hopefully what you guys are here to do as well. You're here to learn how to do something and make money fair and square and earn it. So something that is useful. An example of something that is not useful is to sell something to someone that they can never use. Someone sells something kind of haram, for example. Like, for example, if you made a deal to sell someone something that they can never ever benefit from, that is a useless deal for them. I mean, useful to you because you're gaining, but it's useless to them. They're giving you money for an item they cannot benefit from or use. And finally, it's not something that is excessively harmful. And I add the word excessively because you can sell something to someone that is harmful, but just not excessively harmful. As in, there are levels of harm that is acceptable, and there are levels which are unacceptable. So, for example, I could sell you something that tomorrow may lose half its value, for example. But if that's the norm, and you still benefit from that thing, it's acceptable. For example, like for example, I could sell you some chickens. I think that was one. Let's not get that way. But there's one issue about McDonald's, how they wanted to try and produce McNuggets, but they want to get hit by the fluctuation of the price of chickens. So they just struck some kind of deal. But anyway, back to the point. I'm getting distracted. So there can't be something that is excessively harmful. Some level of harm which is acceptable in Islam. And I say harm, I don't mean that someone actually be harmed, but as in risk. But something that is excessively harmful is not allowed. An example of that would be riba. Riba is harmful, and that level of harm is too much, and so on and so forth. So that's just some basic guidelines of an ideal Islamic trade, and you can see from this why certain things like deceit in trade, riba in trade, gambling itself, these things are haram because they don't fulfill some of the ethos and the ideas behind trade. So rules of currency exchange engagement. So this is in Islam, there are actually specific rules as it relates to money and how you exchange money between itself. And that doesn't necessarily apply to non-ribawi stuff. They call it ribawi stuff or that kind of stuff. We discussed this in our first installment of our Islamic finance course. And obviously part 2 is next week. But the first one we covered that in detail. So refer to that one. Then we have a comment here says everyone is greedy, and that's cool. And I added that comment there because the ulama say that the asl the general rule, the asl fil mu'amalat al-mushaha, the general rule with regards to in transactions between people is that everyone is greedy, and that's fine. That's the basis of trade. I want to get something for the cheapest price, and you want to sell it for the highest price. That's just there's nothing wrong in that. It's all cool. That's how markets work, and that's how markets are supposed to work. Anyhow, we have a market whereby you remove any of those elements, whereby you suppress the price or you artificially elevate the price, then that's a broken market, like we have now with the stock exchange. Anyway, so moving on with gold. So we've got here some gold, and gold is metal, just it's just some atoms and protons and electrons, but they come together and they have certain properties. From those properties, that it's a nice color. It's very soft. But most importantly for us is that you can use it for trade. You can use it as a means of exchange. And Islam has rules about how you do that. So first and foremost of those rules is that if you exchange gold for gold or silver for silver, they must be like for like in terms of weight, obviously. And I say weight because that's how you measure the value of gold. I mean, I don't measure the value of pounds in weight. I measure the value of pound by its face value. That's hence where the phrase comes from. The phrase face value comes from the whole printing press thing, where they write a number on a piece of paper, and that's its value. So you might say to you, take this note, and you say that's not worth X, Y, Z. I say no, just take it on face value. I take it on the value on its face. Anyway, so we have gold for gold, and we measure the value of gold in weight, because that's how you measure the value of gold. But in terms of currencies, it's not on weight; it's on its perceived or noted value of the currency. So it has to be like for like, gold for gold, 1 kilogram for 1 kilogram, 1 gram for 1 gram, 1 ounce for 1 ounce. It has to be like for like. And anyhow, for example, you hold on, so anyhow, you increase one side where one side is not the other, but one side has more than the other, then that's a time where it's not allowed. We call it riba. Even if it's not a loan, it's called technically riba. It's called riba. Or even if it's the same time, even if it's the same amount, but it has to be at the same time. These are the two conditions. So the first condition is that it has to be the same on both sides, 1 gram for 1 gram. And the second condition is it has to be both at the same time. I can't give you 1 gram for another gram later on. As in, that's this condition. I mean, you might think to yourself, why would you do that? We'll discuss that in a minute. But that's just the two conditions. It has to be settled right now, immediately, and it has to be the same amount. But if it's different types, like silver, which is another element, silver, you can do different amounts. So I can do, like, for example, I can do 3 pieces of silver or 1 piece of silver or 500 pieces of silver for 1 piece of gold. I can do any of that, but the other condition remains, meaning it must be at the same time. So that's just a quick revision. When it comes to currencies, there's only 2 conditions in terms of how you exchange them. One of them is that both sides has to be the same if they're the same type. So pounds for pounds, dollars for dollars, euros for euros. It has to be the same amount. I have to give you 10 pounds for 10 pounds. And it has to be at the same time. So I'll give you 10 pounds now, and you give me 10 pounds now. You can't do it later on. Even if I do 10 pounds for euros, it has to be settled right now, and I can't do 10 pounds now, you give 20 pounds euros tomorrow. It can't be that way. Quick question though, but why would anyone give you 1 gram of gold for 2 grams of gold? I mean, who's stupid to do that? Well, I mean, you do have the contract of murabaha, but let's put that aside. But in the past, you have to look at the history. Why did this come out? In the past, it was the case where certain coins actually had different weights and different qualities. So, for example, if you think of it this day and age, if I was to do like an equivalence today, it's like the new 20s and the old 20s. I'm sure you guys have probably seen the new £20 notes. I think, yeah, this is a nice little, plasticky kind of note. I like this one. I don't like this paper one. It's all rough and mangled. So, brother, you take 5 of these mangled 20 notes and you give me 4 of those good notes. Now, again, you wouldn't really do that. But if you imagine time in the past when you had coins, where some coins were watered down with other metals and other coins were pure in terms of their purity. So in that case, I might say, look, here is 5 of the watered down coins for 4 of your purer coins, that kind of stuff. So counterfeiting, that kind of stuff, it existed at that time. So that's probably why those conditions were mentioned in that regards. But that's just how it is. But we do also have a manifestation of that even in our current currencies, and that occurs in things like some of you guys might have heard of these collectible coins, like especially 50p's. There's certain prints on 50p's, like some pandas and whatnot. Some people collect those things, and they even, if you even go on eBay and whatnot, you can even pay extra. You pay good money for the rare 50p. If you go to the shop and spend it, it's just a normal 50p. But because it's a collectible, some willing to pay more. So in that regards, you can't do that Islamically. It has to be 50p for 50p. Now, you could, if you happen to have those collectible 50p's and you know that someone wants to pay more for that, what do? Because you have opportunity here. You would have to wait until it is no longer currency, even at the bank. Then you can exchange it. I mean, by that time, probably no point. But I'm just saying, if it is no longer, if it just becomes just a piece of metal, for example, like coins of the past, like coins from the Roman times, whatnot, people pay good money for those ancient Roman coins, or whatever, that made from brass or whatnot. Why? Because it's old. Is it currency anymore? Not really. You can't go to shop and use it. But because it's no longer currency, then it is just like any other piece of metal. So yeah, that's just a little side note there about collectibles. I know it's a big thing, especially my kids, when they find those 50p's, like, oh, Abby, look, this is a special 50p. And I'm like, yeah, great, but just put it away until you get to 50. Maybe that will you can use it then, because you can't do it now. Anyway, so what is it like in practice? So in practice, that all means, like, imagine I have a Revolut account, and I use issue Revolut is because Revolut is like a fintech kind of bank. It's like you go to the app and you just download the app, and then put your details in, then boom, you have an account. But their unique selling point is that you can just convert your cash into any other currency. So I want to convert my pounds into dollars, and you can do that. Just go to the app, open it up, select exchange, select how much you want to exchange for. It will tell you a fee. You can exchange this to that. It will cost you a certain amount. But once I've done that, the money is now mine. Because inside the Revolut accounts, you don't just have a British account, you also have a Euro account, you also have a American account. You even have an American account number and store code, or whatever they have in their structure, whatever. You can use it because it's in your account. You can send it to other people. So, for example, imagine you have family in America, or family in Turkey, or whatnot, or in France. You can send it to their account using your European account, or you can send it to someone in America using your American account, and it will be as if you were in America with an American account, from one American account to another American account, because you have the money. It's in your hand. The exchange happened. Once you made the exchange, it happened. You can spend it. If you have a Revolut account, you have a Revolut card. And if you're in America, you can go in at the ATM, draw out money from the ATM. You can go to shopping centers and spend it. You put in your PIN. It's there. It's yours. So, and if you want to go back, once you come back from your holiday, for example, you want to come back to your country, you just go to dollars or whatnot and convert it back to pounds, and it's back to yours again. So this is an exchange of foreign currencies. Yeah, I mean that's just what it is, and that's basically what we just said in a nutshell about before, when it has a gold and silver. So when I exchange my pounds to dollars, I said there's a fee, as there's an exchange rate. And like I said, you can vary in terms of value as much as you like, because it's just like a normal trade, as long as it's settled immediately. And there is no function inside the app, obviously, to exchange £1 for £2. I mean, if there was, I'd be stupid. But if you could do that, then that wouldn't be allowed. As long as it's different from pounds to euros, euros to liras and reals and whatnot. So that's foreign exchange currency. And that's exchange, not a foreign currency. And that's perfectly fine. we're gonna make a side note, by the way, just a little segue sideways to understand something else that probably most don't know about, and that's the word leverage. What does leverage mean? I mean, if you can imagine, there's a rock. Not you, Siri. If you can imagine, there's a rock. Or look, so imagine your car. You wanna change the tire on your car. You can't lift the car with your arms because the car's very heavy, but you could leverage your weight or your strength with something else. You have the things that lift up the cars. You pump it and it slowly lifts the car up. So that's an example of leverage. You're harnessing the power of the spokes and the pressure and whatnot and the hydraulics to move a larger car. So you're moving a larger car with a little bit of effort. Your little arms are now moving a massive car, and that's essentially what leverage basically means. So let's have a look. So we've got, I'm going to give an example of Amazon, because some of you guys may even be involved in selling on Amazon. Well, it could be anything, any market. So there's coat hangers here, and you can buy them for like £1 each, and you would sell them for about £4. So you would speak to some guy in China, say, look, I want to buy some of your coat hangers. Please send them to my Amazon storage. And he says to you, yeah, the price of these are £1 each. And you say, okay, that's great, because on Amazon they go for £4. So I'm making profit now. The guy says to you, yeah, the delivery time is about 5 days here. And he goes, all right, cool. So you go and send him £100, you buy 100 items. And 5 days later, now it's in your Amazon account. And then you sell those items, and now you have £400 as you made profit. All the items are gone. It took about 3 days to shift those coat hangers, and now you've made about £300 profit. So then you now reinvest and buy some more. Now you got £400 worth of those, and again it takes you another 5 days before it gets into your Amazon account, and then you shift those again. You got 400 items this time now, so maybe it takes a bit longer than just 3 days to shift, maybe about 7 days, whatever. But you've eventually shifted them, and now you've turned £100 into 1,200 in the space of 20 days. Now, if you think about it, that's all right, for passive income. Just all you're kind of doing is taking a bit of risk by ordering these items. Amazon's doing their bit. You're selling your items online. You've done your bit by advertising, putting the product, taking the photos, taking the pictures, and you've got a little turnaround there. You turn £100 into that's actually amazing if you think about it. Maybe I'll do Amazon after this. Anyway, it's a good turnaround. But there's a problem here. It took 20 days to do that. Is there a way to do that faster? Can I get from day 1 to day 20, or get from £100 to 1,200 quicker than 20 days? That's the name of the game, really. That's what we want to do. So how about if I borrow 400 quid from someone, rather than using that £100 I have, spending within my means, taking that extra time, making the profit, and then reinvesting, rather than that whole process, just borrow 400 quid from someone else quickly, buy the 500 items, and then sell those items. So now they come in 5 days. All 500 items come in 5 days rather than the 8 days it took, or the 13 days it took. And then when I sell those, now I've got my profit in 13 days. But then the one who sent me that money, he's thinking to himself, wait, I've just given you a £400 loan. Let's make some money off this, man. I mean, you're making money. Why can't I make money? Now, he decided to do a riba loan rather than a investment, which would be different. And we discussed that in our Islamic finance part 1. So again, refer to that, the difference between investing and riba loans. But this person decided to do that. And you said to yourself, well, at the end of the day, I'm turning £100 into profit, and I'm doing it only in 13 days. So paying that 50 quid interest on that 400 quid, that's acceptable. I mean, some people might think that, because obviously those people who only think about profit and don't think about Allah's wrath and punishment for riba, they think, yeah, that's an acceptable risk. That's an acceptable profit to make on that loan, which is just said. I mean, I can do that. Yeah. Now with leverage, that's basically what it means. Same thing with the analogy of the car. I am moving a massive car with a little bit of effort on my own. I'm pumping my arm a little bit, but I'm moving a massive car. So then we see right here, we see £100 with the times 4 leverage, as in multiplying that £100 4 times. So I've now got 4 rather than just 1. And therefore I'm able to move that capital even more and make more money off of it. That's essentially why it's called leverage and what leverage really is. And at this point here, it sounds like a really good idea. I mean, it's amazing to think about it. Moving large capital with a little bit of effort, that's wicked. If only the world actually worked that way, but it doesn't. Let's look at reality. Whenever you think of leverage, you have to look at the downside. What happens if it doesn't go that way? The opposite direction. Imagine after 20 days, you still got 400 items left and you only made 200 profit. As you didn't make the profit you thought you were going to make, you only sold 100 items out of the 500 you purchased. So you still have stock inventory. You've only made £200. You still owe the guy £200. And now it's 20 days, which means 20 days, you're still paying interest every single day you're holding that trade. So if the burn starts kicking in, the burn where you have to start shifting stock quick, because otherwise you're gonna be in real debt. Can't continue this onwards. So I have to either start lowering the price of the stock to try and shift it quickly. And Allah help you if the stock was destroyed somehow, and then you can't even sell them. Now you got to find the capital somewhere to pay this guy back. And that's the downside. The downside of leverage is, so whenever you think of leverage, yeah, you may magnify your profits, but you also magnify your losses. And that's essentially why riba loans is such an unfair game, unfair trade, because you're taking all that additional risk and not passing it on to the money lender. Whereas an investment, you're sharing that risk. If it doesn't work out, both of you don't work out. Both of you lose out, not just him, not just you. He loses out as well, because he invested. So part of those 400 items belongs to him. The rest belongs to you. So that's why Islam is fair. If you want to multiply your £400 and get profit off your £400, then be a trader along with him, take on the risk along with him, and share on the profits as well as the losses. Be fair with your trade. That's basically leverage in a nutshell. All that was based on that, a little bit alone. So now let's apply this to currency exchange. So now I've got £1,000, and I'm going to purchase with that dollars, which gives me about $1,200. $1,200. And with that, hold on. So with that now, if I make, so there's a bit of a mistake on the animation. But anyway, with that, if I make a 1% profit, as in the dollar goes, now when I say up and down, I'm going to use it loosely here because it's perspective. Dollar going up, pound going down, it just gets confusing. But let's just say your profit now goes, your trade goes up by 1%. That means that you've earned £10. Of that £1,000 you put in, you earn now £10. That's your profit, because you went up by 1%. And that is actually how currencies kind of move. Moves up slowly. I mean, have you ever, I remember when I was younger, the pound dollar was 1.6, and that was for as long as I can remember. And there was a brief moment where the pound dollar went up to $2 per pound. And that was very brief, just before the crash bubble of 2008. And then it went down. Recently, due to COVID, the pound dollar went as low as 1.1, and now it's 1.2. So those massive swings are not common. It does happen, but you look at that long time frames. Long time frames. So 1%, again, will give you just £10. If that 1%, that can happen in a week. It can move 1% in a week. It's not difficult. It's not difficult for the price of the thing to move up by 1%. All he has to do is move up by 10 cents, for example. 10 cents, or sorry, 1 cent even. 1 cent or about 2 cents up or down. That's possible, that's feasible. But you're only you're only making $10. So yeah, you could trade Forex that way, in the way I described before, like go to Revolut account, buy your dollars, hold on to it. If it goes about 1%, you made 10 pounds. I mean, you've got to factor in the exchange rate, and they usually charge a percentage. So they will probably charge you 1% maybe of the exchange rate. So you got to wait for it to go about 2% to make a profit, because they've already paid in just an exchange rate. But put that aside. How can I make that 1% more than 1%? Let me think. How can I get 100 or 1,000? I use leverage. I can go on an exchange. I can buy that $1,000 worth of dollars, $1,000 worth. I can buy £1,000 worth of dollars, and if I 10 times that trade, as in 10 times leverage, or 100 times leverage, that basically makes that 1% actually 10%, or that 1% actually 100%. Imagine that. SubhanAllah, imagine you could literally double your trade with just a 1% move. Does everyone see now the appeal of Forex trading? I mean, it's amazing. Think about it. I can go in there with £1,000, and all the dollar has to do is move 1%, and I've doubled that £1,000 to £2,000. That's amazing. And the dollars are quite a strong currency. 1% moves are, there's actually less than that. There was 1%. The other day, the stock exchange moved 2%. And then everyone was saying this is a massive move. And I'm like, 2%? Wow, is that it? Because massive markets like that don't move that much. Like 0.1%, 0.5%, those are kind of daily gains. 1% even is actually quite a lot. But imagine that 1% is doubling your money up. That's amazing. So imagine you traded a weaker currency. And I use Turkish lira because there was a moment when I went to Turkey, and just before I went to Turkey, the price of the lira went up by almost 100%. I say almost because it went from like 4 liras a pound to about 7 point something liras a pound, which is almost 8 liras, almost double. So in that short time space of about 6 months or less than that even, the price, the value of the Turkish lira literally halved, or you could say the value of the pound compared to doubled. However you want to look at it. But basically, if you are Turkish in Turkey and you put all your money into the pounds before this happened, if you transfer the money back after the event, you've now doubled your money, and that's without leverage. So you can have massive moves in the stock exchanges, obviously in the foreign exchanges. That's usually with weaker, what they call emerging economies, weaker currencies. So that move would have almost doubled your money, £1,000 profit on that one. But here comes the tasty part. Imagine I could leverage that. Oh my days. SubhanAllah. Turning £1,000 into £100,000. I mean, absorb that for a second. I mean, I'm not saying this happens every day. I'm just saying that imagine you made that trade. You bought £1,000 worth of lira and you 100x that one. Oh my days. SubhanAllah. That is insane money. That's Tesla money. You can buy a Tesla car for £1,000, effectively £1,000, based on that one trade. So why doesn't everyone do this? I mean, surely that's just an easy game, isn't it? Just £1,000, dump it in there, find a weaker currency and make that trade. Make that trade. Well, like I said, like in this previous scenario, you have to look at the downside. What is the downside? The upside is great, and that's the appeal of leverage. What's the downside? So imagine something moved 1% down. You just lost £10. Imagine you times 10 that. Now you've lost £100. Imagine if you 100x that one. You've blown your account. So leverage trading, or using leverage, and when I say leverage, this doesn't only refer to stock Forex. It refers to any type of borrowing money to multiply your investment is called leverage. I could do leverage with housing. I can go find a property, that I can't afford. I have £50,000, I have £20,000, but I can't afford the whole £200,000. But I know that if I bought a house and I fixed it up, I can sell it for more. So I go to the bank, get a mortgage. So I put down my 20,000. The bank puts the rest. I fix it up and I sell it on the market and I make a profit. Give the bank their money back with their interest. I get my money. That's leverage. That is leverage. That's what it's called. It's the same thing. But again, look at the downside. Imagine you bought a house with leverage. You fixed it up, but in the process of fixing up the house, you actually burnt it down. Now you own the bank. You owe the bank all that money, and you got no house to sell. So yeah, the upside is great, but the downside is devastating, and all of that risk is on you. So some may say, "What about the halal leverage, brother? Akhi, yeah, akhi. What about the halal leverage? There are so many platforms that allow you to do leverage, and they say it's halal. What do they say? It's halal. No, it's not halal. Even if they call it halal, it's not halal. Okay, we may have an idea that borrowing money and then paying it back more is riba. But as we discussed earlier on, when it comes to exchange of money, it has to be immediate and it has to be the same amount. Otherwise, that is also riba. That's called riba al-fadl, not riba al-nasi'ah. Again, refer back to the previous thing for details, but there's more types of riba than just the riba we are equated with, and that's the sneaky part of the game. But let's think about it. Let's move on. Let's look at this one. Let's look at this non-riba leverage. So if you bought £1,000 of whatever, and you paid the fee on that, 0.01%. If you made the trade, you bought dollars, and they said that the trading fee of that, or the fee for that trade is X amount. The exchange rate is X amount. So that's the profit of the exchange. That's perfectly fine. If you leverage it £1,000 and now it's £10,000, the fee is more. So they may tell you they don't pay interest on the trade, on the leverage you're doing. But then what they're not telling you is that you are actually paying more on the fees. No one's gonna lend you £9,000 so you can benefit and they don't benefit. Why would they do that? It doesn't work that way. They benefit more from the fees. Also, this loan that they're giving you, is it even really a loan? I mean, but in the Sharia, if I lend you money, the money is now yours, and now what I have in my hand is an IOU. You can do whatever you want with that money. It's nothing to do with me. Definitely nothing to do with me. So if a brother says to me, "Brother, can I borrow £10?" I say, "Yeah, go for it. Here's £10." And he takes that £10 and goes to buy alcohol. Do I get sin for that? No, I don't, because it's now his money. He did with it what he did with it. I had nothing to do with that. And that's essentially how the detach happens between the money you loan and what they do with it. But on these leverage platforms, they lend you the money so you can trade. They don't lend you the money to actually buy a car. You can't take that leveraged £9,000 you got from them and went and bought a Mac Pro or an iPhone, or you can't do anything. You can't do anything you want with it. You can only use it to benefit them. And there is a very famous principle of a riba. قرض تجر به المنفعة riba. Any loan that draws with it benefit, it's riba. So if I lend you money, I say, "Brother, here's the £1,000 you needed to pay your school fees or whatever. Take it, brother. Fi sabilillah. Don't pay me any interest. Just pay me back the £1,000. Fi sabilillah. Because all brothers at the end of the day, we're all Muslim. In it, bruv. But your Tesla, can I drive it even on the weekends? So that little caveat, that little bit at the end, can I benefit from your car based on the loan I've given you? That's riba. That is a riba, because it is a manfa'ah. It is a benefit you draw tied to the loan. Because if he said to you, "No, you can't drive my car," and he said, "Okay, in that case, give me my money back," then you know what it is. That's not the same as if you helped the brother out and he paid you back the money and he said to you, "Brother, you really helped me out and I really needed the help. Here's the keys to my car. You can take it for the weekend and drive it." That's jaza'u ihsan bi ihsan. That's not riba, because that's not, number one, it wasn't conditional. That's just something he did because he wanted to, and it's not connected to the transaction in terms of it's not part of the transaction. Anyway, and that's what I was saying here, is that any loan that gains benefit from it, then that is a riba. So two things. The loan you have is not really a loan because you can't do with it what you want. And secondly, it gains riba. So let's put it all together. Let's put this all together now. So when I buy a currency, these are two questions. These are the two questions you need to ask yourself when you are doing foreign exchange. When I buy the currency, do I have it? Is it mine? Can I withdraw it? Can I spend it? Can I send it to my loved ones? Can I pay wages with it? Is it mine? That's the first question. Second question, when I buy it, did I borrow money to do it? And these are the two questions you need to ask yourself. So whoever's listening, write this stuff down. You're gonna need it in a minute. So that's basically Forex trading in brief. And you can't really call a 40-minute discussion brief, but in brief, that is about the foundation of how to do Forex trading halal. It involves actually purchasing the currency, taking possession of it in your hands, in your account, in your possession, and that's perfectly fine. And there is a bank, if you can call it a bank. It's not called a bank, nor is it a bank, but it's effectively, it does function similar to a bank. And it's called Sharika al-Rajhi. Sharika al-Rajhi in Saudi Arabia. And even the name is telling, because they call it Sharika al-Rajhi, as in the Rajhi big company. They never called it the Rajhi Bank. Now, if you are in Saudi, there is a Rajhi Bank. And that is a bank. But it also is a Sharika al-Rajhi, which is actually something completely different. I mention this because that company began from the guy Rajhi, way back, from the Hujjaj who used to come. He used to go to Mecca, and he had currencies, and he would do currency exchanges. That's how he made his company. That's how he made his money business, and eventually developed to become Sharika al-Rajhi. So he would actually possess and own currencies. Hujjaj would come from their countries with their currencies, and he would provide a service of converting those currencies into riyals or whatever was at the time. And when they leave, he would give them back the money in their own currencies. And obviously, at each exchange, there was a transaction, and that's perfectly fine. Because number one, it was his money. And number two, he possessed it. Both parties possessed it, both parties had it. Forex trading, on the other hand, when I say Forex trading, as in those trading platforms that do Forex trading, including the halal ones, don't fulfill these two conditions. And I say this loosely, and that's why I'm not mentioning names. I am saying these are the conditions you need to ask yourself, and therefore you will determine if it's halal or haram. Not for me. I don't say this is halal, this is haram. I say, look, you go to those platforms if you want to do your Forex trading, and you ask yourself, when I make this trade, do I have the money that I'm trading? If you do, and you can use it like I use it in the Revolut accounts, then go for it. Do that if you want to do that. And secondly, do I need to borrow money to achieve that trade? I think using leverage. If you don't use leverage and you possess the money, then by all means do that. But I'm sure you could probably guess by now, why would you do that? If currencies don't move that much, I mean, the Turkish lira moving by almost, I think that was a cataclysmic effect. Don't think that Turkey's currency does that every day. It doesn't do that every day. It was a massive event happened due to some kerfuffle between Erdogan and Trump and whatnot, and it was something economic that happened to Turkey at the time, which they're still trying to recover from in a way. Although the currency is really suffering from COVID and the rest of it. But I'm just saying that it's not a normal thing to happen. It's not an everyday thing to happen. So therefore, if it's not an everyday thing to happen, it's not really a business model. Business models require predictability. That if I bought these items and I put it onto Amazon, then most likely it would sell. Predictability. No one buys items to sell on Amazon and they have no idea if there's even any demand. No one does that. Because if there's no demand and you have no idea if there's demand, that's not a very good business acumen. So when it comes to Forex trading, you can do foreign exchanges and you need to shift or do these trades often. and in large numbers to even make a profit. You need to be having yourself hundreds of thousands of pounds to make that £1,000 profit or whatever per trade. And only people who really make the money are the exchange companies, because remember they have what's called a spread, whereby they have a buy price and a sell price. You've gone to the airport, you've seen the currency exchange at the airport. They say that the price of thing is this much if you buy it, and this is that much if you sell it. That's the exchange rate. And they're basically making profit from the distance between the two, from it on that side buying, on that side selling. That's how they're making their profit. But you can't make money from them. You have to be them. So the question is there a halal way then? Can I really? Oh my! I came here to you told me. I saw your video. I saw the hype about the Forex. You told me I can make money. What's going on? Can I make money then through trading? You can actually, if you traded cryptocurrencies. So effectively, you are still doing a currency. It's just not a government-backed currency. It is a cryptocurrency. And the main difference between a cryptocurrency in this regards, two main differences. Number one, cryptocurrencies are not government issued. They are, you could say, independent in some ways. This is a loose statement about it because there's so many cryptocurrencies out there. Some of them are even haram to trade, but that's another discussion for another day. But they are not government backed, so therefore that's one difference between the two. And secondly, because they are very new and very young, moving the price of cryptocurrencies is easy. You can the means and mechanisms, or the market moves drastically. Not the 1% or the 0.5% you see on the pound dollar or the yen dollar, but you're talking about 10%, 20%, 50% even. So that's effectively achieving the leverage without the leverage. That's effectively what you're doing with cryptocurrencies, if that's what you wanted to do. Now, should you be trading currencies or even cryptocurrencies? I would say no. I mean, you shouldn't be trading anything, because 90% plus people lose money when it comes to these kind of things. And that's, again, why they lose money. That's another discussion for another time. But statistically speaking, unless you know what you're doing, which it does take many months or even years to even get to the level where you actually start making money, you're going to end up losing more money than you are making if you are trading it. That's the same as investing. I was about trading. Trading is basically mean you go in, you go out, you go in, you go out, you go in, you go out. So if you're going to be doing that, if you come here, if you think that by opening up a crypto account and then trading it, you're going to make loads of money, 90% of the time, or most of you are going to lose it. And if you hear people say to you, yeah, brother, I opened an account and I made loads of cash, they're either lying to you or hiding from you their losses. Trust me, I've been in this game or in the crypto sphere for many years, and I've seen many people blow their accounts thinking that they were making money. So it's a known fact. But money can be made. The point is, it can be done without the leverage on crypto if you wanted to trade and you think you have the ability to trade. So, for example, imagine you were a trader. I know people who were traders, even Forex traders, before they heard that it was haram. They even were Forex traders and they were very good at it. And then they heard, oh, leverage is haram. And like, okay, damn, I can't do Forex anymore. They might think, okay, what else can I do? Well, you if you have the skill, you could trade crypto. And therefore you can have the swings without the leverage. And the question is, okay, what makes cryptocurrencies different from the Forex then? First and foremost, remember the questions. When you buy it, do you have it? Yes, you do. Cryptocurrencies doesn't work on the old infrastructure of fiat currency. In order for me to transfer my pounds to someone else or my dollars to someone else, there's only one of two ways. By hand, which means I have to be in front of my face, like what Raj did in Mecca, or via a bank. So that's another infrastructure, something else. That's on the bank. So therefore, you have to actually do it on a bank exchange. Whereas cryptocurrencies, there is no bank. It's on a decentralized ledger. So I can purchase any coin from anywhere on planet Earth, even in the middle of the desert, and I can have it in my hand, on my phone, on my computer, on my Bitcoin wallet, whatever the case may be, and it will be in my hand. So that's the first thing. When you purchase crypto, you would actually have it. It's yours. You can spend it. You can exchange. You can send someone else. You can do whatever you like with it, because that is what it is. Cryptocurrencies is internet money, as they say. And when I buy it, do I have to borrow money to do so? Now, unfortunately, you can also do leverage in crypto, which, if you can imagine, that is insane. If crypto moves 10%, 30%, 40% in single moves, and then you 100x that one, that is insane. Imagine 100x in a 40% move. That'll make you rich in a day, but also blow your account if it goes down by 1% or more. So you could do that. And unfortunately, there are many platforms, and listen carefully, there are many crypto trading platforms that allow you to do leverage, or that are leverage. And if that's the case, it's the same thing as what we had before. It is haram. So if you wanted to trade crypto, you have to do so on what's called spot exchanges. And again, all this stuff about what it is, we'll discuss that in our next future Islamic finance course. We actually specifically discuss about this topic of trading. We have a whole course coming up very soon, but that's not what we're talking about now. But you have to go to what's called an exchange, a spot exchange, whereby when you buy a cryptocurrency, you are buying it from a person who actually owns it. A lot of these exchanges that do leverage, even mostly Forex exchanges, they don't even have money, by the way. If you open an account and you buy dollars or you buy euros, they don't even have the dollars or the euros. You're just purchasing a number. That's why you can't withdraw it. So the same thing with crypto. If you go to an exchange and they don't even have the cryptocurrency, you can't exchange it, then again, it's haram. You have to buy it from someone who actually has the liquidity, has the currencies, and can give it to you, or you withdraw it when you withdraw it. So you can do so. So what example of gains are we talking about? So let's have a look at, this is just an example of Bitcoin. And I'm sure most people are probably looking at this thinking, what the heck is this? I'm just showing to you that, again, if you've come here to learn about Forex, and the reason why you want to know about Forex is because Forex is an exchange. Not you, go away. So this is my watch. Forex allows you to buy currencies and then benefit from the fluctuation in the prices. You just now learned that real, or not real, but that government-backed currencies don't really fluctuate that much for you to really make a profit out of it. 1%, 0.5%, that's not really good. You're not going to pay your bills with that. You need something that has a lot more volatile, has a lot more upside than that, if that's what you wanted to do. And here we see Bitcoin. So for example, we see that from this moment here, from over here, up to here, this one move, this was 10,000% gain. That's why you have all these fantasy dreams about people, buying £100 of Bitcoin and then become millionaires, because that's effectively what happened. They bought something right here and they waited until it moved up to here, and then they sold out, I guess. And again, maybe someone bought something right here and they sold out about here, and that was a 2,660% gain. That basically means if you had £1, now you got 2,676 pounds in profit. Or maybe you bought about here and you sold up here. That's an 11,000% gain. Again, that's like taking £1 and making it £11,000, or £1,000 and making it millions. So effectively, there is more room for gain if that's what you wanted to do. But this time frame here, everyone, this is months, not days, not weeks. This is months. And if you try to trade this, as you can see, it goes up sometimes, it goes down sometimes, it goes up sometimes, it goes down sometimes. It does lots of things. And what most likely happens if you don't know what you're doing is people will jump in up here thinking it's going to go up higher. It goes down to here and they think, oh crap, I lost money. They sell down here. It starts moving up again. They think, oh, it's gone up again. Let me buy here. And then it goes down again. They buy high and they end up saying no because they don't know how to trade. All of this information we'll be covering in next week's webinar, where we talk about what is Bitcoin. Oh, well, The trading part we won't be talking about, but we will be talking about cryptocurrencies. And this is the key point here. I want everyone to understand. When it comes to trading or even investing, you could say, the most important thing you should learn from today's presentation is that you should not ever put your money in something you have no knowledge what you're talking about or knowledge what's going on. Why did Bitcoin go up? Why did Bitcoin go down? Why even the dollar went up? Why did it go down? You must know your market before you trade. Just like you wouldn't buy coat hangers from China to sell on Amazon without first knowing if there's even demand for coat hangers on Amazon. You need to first know your market before you do so. And this is where you need to learn about cryptocurrencies if you want to trade cryptocurrencies and jump on this revolution or this paradigm shift in terms of money before you even embark on this journey. And that's effectively one of the reasons why I put forward and integrated into my Islamic finance curriculum cryptocurrencies as part of the curriculum, because it is definitely the future, whether it is Bitcoin, the digital dollar, the digital euro, or whatever the case may be. Money is moving towards the digital. Paper was previous technology. When paper was invented, that was technology from those days. But it is, as you can imagine, old tech now. We're still using it, but it's old tech now. Now technology is digital. And technically speaking, most money this day, even pounds, is digital. Only 3% of money that's in circulation that actually exists. The rest of it is on the computer screen. So it's already digital. So if a person wishes to gain financial freedom, no, the slogan sounds so dry, but wants to secure their future and invest in the future and whatnot, they need to first learn and understand the market before they even embark on it. Because maybe, this is important everyone, maybe you learn about Bitcoin and you think to yourself, this is not for me. And that's fine. That's perfectly fine. You'd only know that if you learn. And this is why it's important, ikhwan and akhawat, before you step into any markets, whether it be Forex, whether it be stocks and shares, whether it be investing in futures markets, or in CFDs, or in cryptocurrencies, or just Amazon even. Sell on Amazon. First, learn your trade, learn your skill, and then put your effort into it. And then put your effort and mind into it, and inshallah, you will benefit. So I think, is Abu Bakr, are you still there, brother?
Yes.
Yeah, so from what I've understood, the Brothers at Knowledge College, because as you know, I'm just a teacher, but the Brothers at Knowledge College have a special deal in order to help you guys out as it relates to next week's Bitcoin workshop. And apparently, I think it is, Abu Bakr, correct me, the first 5 people who sign up now, they will get access to the part 1 of the Islamic studies or Islamic finance course we did about 2 weeks ago. So just brief understanding, what did we cover? In that first course, we particularly covered I would say the foundation of all trade and business. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, I'm talking about not talking about global economics. I'm talking about the foundation of trade and money. Going back to the time of Adam alayhi salam up until today. So we went along the journey. Along that journey, we discussed what is money, why do we have money, what is a loan, what is a debt, what is riba. And we spent a whole day on discussing what is riba, understanding the details of riba, so you can identify this evil manifestation on the markets, and we can identify how to stay away from it. So when you see trades and how people repackage things and reword things, you will hopefully be able to identify, say, wait, this thing here is riba. So I felt it was very important for everyone, especially Muslims, to understand what is riba, because only once they understand what riba is, they can move forward. A bit like what Hudhayfa ibn Yaman said. He said, I learned the evil, not for the evil itself, but so I can stay away from it. Because whoever doesn't know the evil falls into it. So I think it was day 2, we spent a whole day discussing what riba is. And then we continued on the journey of what was money, the history of money, going from going from nuggets to coins to paper to central banking to depegging of the dollar, from the gold, why all these things happened and how it manifests itself in our markets. And most importantly, especially if it comes to trade, we discussed in detail supply and demand, and how supply and demand, what exactly is the mechanism of supply and demand, and why does printing money out of thin air, how does that mechanism manifest itself in the markets? So we covered a lot, we covered a lot in that first week. So the brothers have basically said to me, they called me today, said, brother, we want to offer something to you guys, to encourage you guys to join on to number 2. And I suggested, do this, do that. We had a little discussion, and the conclusion was we wanted to offer something that will benefit you, rather than just some kind of thing like, a free phone call or something like that. We want something that will give you long-term benefit in your life. So the whole of what's it called? It was a week-long course. We did a week-long workshop, and every day I think it was like, it's supposed to be an hour and a half. We went way over an hour and a half. It was sometimes even 2.5 hours of content. So it's jam-packed with content. And like I said, I'm not going to go on like a salesman, because I'm not really a salesman. I don't want to be anyway. But basically, the idea is if you sign up to our course next week, where we discuss Bitcoin. What is Bitcoin? How was it made? How does it function? How do you acquire it? How do you use it? How do you spend it? What makes it what it is? Why do you even need it? And most importantly, how is it an exit from our corrupt system? We live in a system that is corrupt, where the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. And this is by design, by the way, everyone. It is not an accident. It is by design. If you refer to our first course, you see that by design, it is made that way. It is made the way that those who have the money and lots of it, they're the ones who benefit, and those who don't, they're the ones who are paying for it. So by design, you are made to be poor and stay that way. And very few are allowed in. You could say very few are allowed in if you play the game. Whereas I believe Bitcoin is an exit from that. But you only really grasp that really truly if you learn about Bitcoin. And that's why we put together a 2-week course explaining what Bitcoin is on a fundamental level. You're not going to learn about trading. Like I said to you, I don't advise anybody. Listen carefully, everyone. This is key advice. I do not, under any circumstance, advise any one of you to trade any currency, be it fiat or crypto. It's a one-way ticket to wreck city. You will find yourself 90% losses. You'll find your £10,000 go down to about 40, 50 quid, and think yourself, you know what, this is long. And you only end up burning yourself. Just trust me on this one. Trading, for the most part, is long. But why is it long? We'll discuss that another time. It's too being much time. I mean, what are you spoken about for about an hour now? So that will be next week's webinar. And there is another webinar for another little trading fad, you could say, and that's something called iBoomerang. I think that's on a Tuesday. That'll be a short thing. It's not a long thing. It's not like Forex. Forex is more complicated because it's a big thing. Trading currencies fundamentally, as you can see, is halal. So what had to be done here was to explain why it is how it is halal, and why Forex trade on exchanges is haram. So we have to make that subtle distinction. Well, not very subtle, but they had made that distinction between the two. But iBoomerang is more straightforward. So what it is, how it is, we'll discuss that on Tuesday. What I would suggest is what shows that the iBoomerang webinar is important is because it will lay down the foundation to identify Ponzi schemes. I'll be a bit of a spoiler there, but anyway, it's a free thing. What can you lose? Join on that one as well. But like I said, I'll leave it to Abu Bakr. I think Abu Bakr wants to say something. I was told him that he was going to want to say something. That in regards to in regards to that. So, brother, I'll leave it to you, inshallah, to say something. And you can ask anyone can ask their questions. Ask in the question below. Go for it, brother.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Sheikh, that if everyone watching on the KC website, if you just refresh the page, number one, we've re-enabled the chat on the YouTube live. So anyone who has any questions, you can type them into the YouTube chat, and inshallah, I will pose them to Sheikh Muawiyah. And Also, if you refresh it, just underneath the video, there's the link to the page where the Bitcoin course is. And as mentioned, there's a discount code there as well, BTC20. And if you use that, you get £20 off, and also you also get the recordings from the first course. That's only open to the first 5 people. So we're monitoring that, and as soon as 5 people have signed up, that's going to be turned off because spaces are limited. So Sheikh, someone asked, how is crypto different to Forex if they both use leverage?
Yes. So is the question? It's a very good question, and I was hoping that to make that clear in I was making the delivery. Is that, remember I said to you that Forex trading isn't haram. But what I said to you is that the way it's done is haram. It reminds me when I first graduated from Medina. This is a while back. It's in 2008, and I came back off the boat or off the plane, and you know, nostalgia kicks in. You wish you had other things you grew up with, and blah blah blah. And I remember going to I don't know where it was Tesco's or whatnot, and I picked up some cheese and onion crisps. I was like, wicked. I love those Walkers. I missed it so much. Inside, you got those lame Lays. I prefer the Walkers. Anyway, but when I looked at the back of it, there was no sign which says suitable vegetarian. And I was like, so gutted. I was like, oh my days. It's cheese and onion. Why would you put some other than cheese and onion in the crisp? So my point of mentioning that scenario is that it's not uncommon in non-Muslim countries, and even Muslim countries, I guess, where people would put haram things in things that are perfectly halal. So like I said to you, Revolut, if you wanted to exchange money in Revolut, you could do Forex trading like that. I mean, if you have lots of capital and you didn't mind spending the amount and going from pounds to whatever it is and backwards, you could do so. But like I said to you, currencies don't move that much for it to make sense. They have their commission, which should most likely be your profit margin. If your own profit is making 1% or 2%, that's essentially what you're going to give to them just on the exchange itself. Go in there and probably exchange back again. So I'm just saying, as a business model, I don't see it's feasible that anyone can make money trading currencies on Revolut. It's a good service to have if you wanted to exchange money from pounds to liras or to reals as you go to Turkey or Dubai or whatnot, and you want to spend money there. So you get a Revolut card, you transfer your money into that currency there, and you spend it as a local currency, like a local card. And then when you finish, you come back. Yeah, I mean, you could do that. Or if you have relatives abroad and you don't want to pay for exchange rates, I think Revolut has that if you have a special card, that you get 0 exchange rate fees. So you don't pay any fees. You can go backwards and forwards as much as you like, and you can do that. I mean, that's one thing you could do. But like I said, with Forex, or with current government-backed currencies, it doesn't move that much for you to make that profit. The only reason why I suggested crypto is because it does move that much, so you can make a profit. I mean, just 3 days ago, Bitcoin went up 8%, and then the next day it went down 8%. So imagine you took advantage of that 8%, you made those profit, sold out, and then you made the profit. I didn't even discuss the issue of shorting. That's a whole new discussion. But I'm just saying that the main difference between the Forex and the crypto is that crypto has the shift in pricing, or you said the extreme shift in pricing, that would make trading it profitable, whereas normal currencies don't have that. And that's actually the reason why those exchanges use leverage, because otherwise there's no profit to be made. That's the reason why. And that's why even the halal exchanges still use halal leverage, because they know that no one's going to use their platform if there's no leverage at all. Because who's going to trade the yen dollar or the pound dollar for a 0.5% gain after you're paying 0.1% fees going there and going back? So that's just the main thing. I'm not sure that's clear to everyone. If it's not clear, then ask again. But that's essentially what the main difference is. So back to the point, the exchanging is not a problem. It's how it's achieved on exchanges. Most, if not all, Forex exchanges that either don't have the money to give you if you want to withdraw it, or you just can't do it anyway. And that's actually an interesting point. Even on Revolut, by the way, on the Revolut account, there is actually an option to buy Bitcoin. There's everyone. There's an option on Revolut to buy Bitcoin. But I will say to you, don't. And the reason why is because you can't withdraw that Bitcoin. It sounds odd, but it is what it is. I mean, with currencies, I can buy euros on Revolut and I can send that euros to someone else because I can withdraw it. It's mine, it's in my account. But for some reason, and I suspect the reason because they don't actually have Bitcoin to give, but for some reason, when you buy Bitcoin on Revolut or a Bitcoin on Revolut, you cannot withdraw it. I've asked them. I mean, so you do this, could you withdraw it? They say to you, no. And the biggest irony is actually, if you use their Bitcoin account to buy a Bitcoin from someone else, they don't allow it. They will shut down your account. That's the biggest irony. The hypocrisy is too much in the West. Anyway, so in summary, what makes it haram isn't the fact that it's called Forex. I'm not saying that Forex is haram because it's Forex. I'm saying it's haram because of the riba-based leverage, and it's haram because you're not actually transacting anything. You can't take or possession of what you transact is not actually there. So that's the reason why it is haram. Next question.
Yeah, let me just get it 1 second. Someone said, can we use websites like Binance for spot exchange?
Yeah. So for those of you who are very new, because some of you guys know stuff and some of you guys don't know stuff. So like I said, join at next week's course. We will, like I said, I'm telling you from my own personal experience, cryptocurrencies is a whole new paradigm shift. Listen carefully, everyone. I'm not exaggerating at all. Cryptocurrencies is something that mankind, human history has never seen it before. So getting your head around it can be very challenging. Hence why there are many fatwas of the ulama saying what they're saying might have been haram, because generally speaking, they don't get it. It's not putting, by the way, astaghfirullah, I'm not putting any scholar down. Listen carefully, I'm not putting any scholar down or whatsoever. It's not their fault. It's because inherently it is very different. And the only example I can give is like trying to explain a fridge to an Arab 200 years ago. Did you know that at one point, some scholars said that radio was haram because it's sihr, it's magic. Because they just didn't understand, how can someone speak out of a machine, a box? It was not their fault. They're not stupid, by the way. Don't think that sometimes, this is unfortunate, some du'at or callers to Islam, they use these things to try and criticize the scholars. It's not a critique. It's not their fault. They haven't committed any sin in doing that. It's just the nature of the game. They don't know what it is. There's a little box here which makes some sound and you can understand what it's saying. What else is it other than sihr? Of course it's sihr. It's jinn. I mean, obviously it's jinn. But if you explain to them, no, Sheikh, there's something called radio wave, there's something called electronics, there's something called a magnet, and you explain how it works. And if they get it, like, oh, okay. In that case, it's halal. Same thing to a fridge. Explain to someone how you can have a box, you put something inside there, and it comes out ice. What the heck is that? Clearly that's jinn. But again, if you explain to them what exactly it is and they understand what it is, and they'll be like, okay, I get what it is. Cryptocurrencies, like I said, I'm not exaggerating here. I am telling you, get in your head around how it works. What the heck is it? Why does it even have value? It will take you even time. Even after having the explanation, I've had so many aha moments, and that's after doing months of research. There's things I'm learning about cryptocurrencies. So don't be surprised if it's difficult to learn. Don't be surprised it's difficult to understand. It is something that will just take time to just learn. But it is definitely the what's the case? It is definitely something that is going to be an everyday thing. It's going to be a household thing. And it's not. Don't think of any of the ulama who say it's haram as being deficient or naqis, something like that. It's nothing like that at all. We make dua for them, but inshallah one day they will come to learn what it is, and you'll find that they'll use it themselves. I mean, I've been in a meeting with a scholar. I'm not gonna say his name, but I've been in a meeting with a scholar, and we spent probably about 7 hours. I'm not even joking, by the way. It was an all-day thing. 7 hours going through what Bitcoin is and cryptocurrencies, and even at the end of that, he still didn't get it, and issued a fatwa that is haram, and described it by other than what we described it. So it's just something that's gonna take time. Give it time. It will make itself apparent. But that's the reason why you need to know what it is for yourself, so that when you do read the fatwa, listen carefully, when you do read the fatwa, you read it, Sheikh says it's haram, and you read, okay, well, Sheikh, why is it haram? And you say, yeah, it's haram because blah, 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 blah. It's not me telling you that it's halal. You would see from what the Sheikh said, that you say, Sheikh, that's not true. Sheikh, that's not true. Sheikh, that's not true. And actually, Sheikh, what you described there is actually money we have now. What you would find there is what it described isn't reality. I'm not going to tell you that. Don't take my word for it. Just attend the course, see for yourself, and it'll be hopefully straightforward. I'm not sure if that answered the question. Did that answer the question, brother? Did that answer the question?
I assume so. Yeah, I think it did. Yeah.
Here you go for next question.
Next question is, what's the difference? By the way, alhamdulillah, 3 people have of the 5 have taken the offer, so only 2 spaces left. Alhamdulillah.
No, the funny thing is, this for me, this feels very easy. This whole idea of drumming up sales and but it has to be done sometimes. Obviously, the thing is, like I said, I'm sure many of you are very cautious. I mean, for me, my character is very risky. I'm a very risk-taking person. And also, I love to challenge things. So, for example, if there's a status quo, there's something which is the norm, I love to go against the norm. That's just how my character is. Everyone who knows me knows this how I am. So for me, wanting to learn Bitcoin was something I wanted to do anyway, because it was something that people didn't do. I mean, that's just me. Because they don't do it, I want to know what it is. But there are many people out there who are risk averse, because most people don't know it or don't do it. And on top of that, because some scholars say, no, don't do it, they're risk averse. Like, nah, I don't get involved in it. And some even go as far as to say, I don't even want it if it's free. I mean, just the other day on the Instagram, I said, does anyone want to have free Bitcoin? And I said, yes or no. And some people said, no, I don't want it. Some people said, no, I don't free Bitcoin. So there are people out there who are risk averse. But like anything, what we're saying here, what we're offering here is not a product. This is what makes what we're doing different from a Ponzi scheme. We're not selling you Bitcoin. We're not saying to you, sign up to this course and you're going to be a millionaire. We're not saying any of that. We're just saying, sign up to this workshop. And with this workshop, what you're going to gain from your money is knowledge. This knowledge will help you prepare yourself for the future. Maybe you'll never trade a single coin in your life, but at least you would know where things are going. And that's basically what you should always do. Invest in knowledge. Don't invest in anytime you see these kind of schemes, they say, yeah, give me this money, and then with that you get that money. That's almost a Ponzi scheme. And on that note, again, join us for this iBoomerang thing. We'll talk more about that. You can see exactly how those things happen when people ask you, give us this money, and you get that money in return. That's not what we're saying here. We're saying here is money itself will change. Governments across the world are already talking about removing money, cash. There will be a day in your life or in your children's lives where they'll wonder to themselves, why did you even use coins? Why did you carry around your wallets? That's so long, Dad. Why did you have money for? Or I'm saying cash money. There'll be a time when cash will be the thing of the past. That is coming. Like I said, I'm not saying it will come. I'm not saying that Bitcoin is going to make it happen. I'm saying that even governments are already investing in their own cryptocurrencies. So that's going to happen. So it's best you start learning now before opportunity is gone. Next question. So I'll rant on a bit. Sorry.
Someone asked us, just to clarify, so if the leverage is 1-to-1 and there are no swap and commission fees on the broker, then that means it's permissible, or is there another condition to making it permissible?
Yeah, the other condition is like possession. Do you own it?
So you have to own it as well.
Obviously, yeah, you have to own it. Like I said, that's what I said to you. That's why I'm not the kind of person. Basically, I'm not the kind of person to say haram, 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 and then walk away. I love to try and give people alternatives. And if anyone knows me, they know that's how I am. If I say something's not allowed, I would love to give you alternatives. And I gave you one. I said, open a Revolut account, for example. You just download the app, giving you details, and you could transfer your money into that account, and it's a bona fide account. Like you have a debit card and everything. And if you want to purchase another currency, do that. You could do that there. It's straightforward. But my point is, Forex exchanges who make money from that thing, I don't know of any of them that work like Revolut, because remember, Revolut's business model isn't the same as they're trying to be a bank. They make money through withdraw money for ATMs and all sorts of stuff. They make money for other things. But as for exchanges, how do they make money? And how are you going to make money? Like I said to you, Revolut, they gave you the option to exchange, not for you to make money from it, but just so you can have access to another currency. If you're not going to go to an exchange where they promise you that you are going to make money from that, you have to ask yourself, how can I make money when in the last 5 days, the pound dollar's money moved 5.5%? What kind of trade is that? So yeah, if it's a one-to-one, as there's no leverage, there's no additional fees, and they actually have, by listen carefully as well, they actually have capital. That's another thing as well. When you buy the money off of them, they have the money. I didn't mention it in the thing. I didn't want to make it long, but some exchanges don't actually have money. What you're actually exchanging or trading is what's called a CFD, which is basically called contract for difference. Basically, what you're trading numbers. As in, if you open their bank account, if you went to their warehouse, they've got no money in their vaults. They've got no money in their accounts. There's nothing there. So what you're buying isn't really dollars or euros. You're buying a number. That's why you can't exchange it. So again, do your research. If you find an exchange that where you buy the currency, you own it and it's yours, and there's no leverage, then by all means go ahead. If you want to waste your time and do that, or whatever, or if you know a way to make money, do it, then do so. That's why I never said all exchanges are haram. I'm just saying that, to my knowledge, none of them have fulfill both criteria. Let's move on to other questions. I don't want to take up too many time with a few questions.
What's the difference between trading crypto and investing in crypto?
Yeah, so one example, I mean, I would say there's in the crypto sphere, there's something called hodl. Basically you buy it and you hold on to it, and you could say lock up capital, and you speculate and you expect it's going to increase in value over time. So it might go up, it might go down drastically, it might go up, go down, but you're right because you're holding it for the long term. That you'd probably describe as an investor, yeah. And for Bitcoin specifically, Bitcoin is projected to go in the next 2 years or less to $280,000. Right now we're at about $9,000, and this is a projection, by the way, using what's called the stock to flow ratio model. I'm not going to get into what that means now. That's a whole new discussion. I don't want to distract. I'm not saying it will go to that amount. I'm saying based on previous history, which you can see on the screen right now, Bitcoin has cycles where it goes up a lot, it comes down and it corrects, and it goes up a lot again. Then it comes down and it corrects. So the projection is that if it goes up again, if it goes up again, like it's done 2-3 times before, the next target is in a 200,000 target. So if you're saying, yeah, I'm going to buy some Bitcoin now, and when it gets to that target, then yeah, I'm great. Maybe I'll buy a house or buy one, or whatever I want to do. That's an investor. A trader, on the other hand, he's not looking that far ahead. He's looking at today, tomorrow, sometimes even in 5 minutes. You can even trade in 5 minutes. So he's like saying, I want to get in at this point, I want to get out at that point. Again, we have a whole course on that. I will teach you how to read the charts. What you see right now on the board, on the screen, is called charts. And those little green and red things are called candles. We'll go through all what these are, how to read them, how to project, forecast where they're going to go. We have a whole course on that. That's going to come, not the next one, but in following ones. But a day trader or a trader, that's his goal. He has no interest in long-term investment. He wants to get in at a point and get out at a point. So if it goes down by a little bit, he'll get out. If it goes up a little bit, it get out. That's a trader. Just like a market trader. He wants to buy the coat hangers, takes it to the market and sells it. Goes somewhere else, buys it, takes somewhere else and sells it. That's a trader. That's basically the difference between a trader and an investor. An investor, he believes in the project. He thinks it's going to become something great, and he puts the money into to share in the greatness. And I guess if you want to look at it in terms of business, it's like, imagine your friend, he's got a business idea to have a restaurant. You like his idea, you tasted the food, you like the food, you think it's going to be successful. So you invest your capital in the future of this project because you think this restaurant's going to be big. So when it does become big, you have now become part of the journey of it becoming big, as opposed to a trader. You have no care about the way it's going to go. You just want to make some money. Next question. Next question.
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Just wanted to clarify something.
Yeah.
The first course, people are asking, the first course was a live course that was taught at the time, and
Yeah.
it's the recordings that are being
Yeah.
made available.
Yeah.
And could you just clarify once again the difference between the two courses? So what was what you went through in the first one, and what the new Bitcoin one will go into?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, the first course, we covered, you could say, everything to do with money from the beginning of Adam up until right now. So we actually never spoke about Bitcoin. We only spoke about everything up until today and how the system works right now, as well as found a lot of foundational information about supply and demand and riba and other side topics, which is relevant to know, but we just covered that. So you could say that was the reason. The number one was the foundation for every Muslim trader you need to know. Even if you have no interest in trading currencies, maybe you just want to do Amazon trading, you just want to do open a business or a shop, whatever. These are just basically the foundations on how to understand where you are right now and how your business model will be affected by what's the global economy, what's up right now. Bitcoin will come in. That's gonna now just basically teach you what Bitcoin is. What is this thing? So, I mean, maybe the first 15 minutes, maybe even less, maybe 20 minutes, we might refresh off what happened in the course number one, just so you get up to speed, I guess. But essentially, we're moving on from right now to the future. That's basically what it is. Next question.
Yep. The next question is, if I start trading on, the thing is, Sheikh, I'll be honest with you, a lot of these questions, the terminology you use stuff, even I don't understand it myself.
Hold on, brother. Sorry, what you just said actually reminded me. The brother, the second question actually asked me about Binance. Sorry, and I kind of got ranted on something else. I didn't answer the question. Sure. Binance is just an exchange, by the way. It's just a name of an exchange. They can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. You can buy it and keep it as an investor, or you can buy it and trade it. Like I said, get in and out and trade. But some exchanges, even crypto exchanges, they're leverage exchanges, just like you have Forex exchanges. So you can basically do your 10x, your 5x, your 100x, you can do all that kind of stuff on those. So even if it's crypto, using leverage is haram. It doesn't matter. I love Bitcoin. That's the fact. Everyone who knows me knows I love Bitcoin. I don't stop going on about it. But at the same time, if you're using leverage, it's haram. So using Binance, you can use Binance to acquire your Bitcoin and take it off the exchange. You can do that. But if you open up a leveraged account on the Binance, which is separate, by the way, it's not the same. If you open a leveraged account, then you're done. Then you've done haram. You've now signed up to a riba contract. Even if you haven't traded it, you signed up to do it. So don't do that, basically. So go on, brother. I'll do another question.
I was just mentioning that a lot of these questions, I don't myself understand the terminology used or the thing. So I'm just...
Crypto is a whole new world, brother. Trust me, it's a whole new world. We have a whole new language. We can even have a whole conversation. It's like we're speaking Japanese.
Someone said, if I start trading on MetaTrader with my own money, would that be halal?
So MetaTrader, I'm assuming that's a decentralized platform. So like I said, just ask yourself these two questions. When I make the trade, do I have the capital? Is it my capital? Can I withdraw the capital? Or is it locked in and I can't do the trade? I can't use the capital. That's the whole point. Like I said, whether it's Bitcoin, whether it's whatever, it doesn't make a difference. If it's locked in and I can't take it, then there's a problem. Now there are ways you can lock it in and it's fine. But again, I don't want to make this discussion something else, which is supposed to be about Forex. But yeah, just remember that. Just keep those two questions in your mind. If I bought a currency, is it mine? And if I bought it, did I do it with my own money? Just those two questions, and everything else should be fine. And everything should be quite straightforward after that. Go on, next question.
If you leverage, then it means bigger profit or loss, but you can only ever lose your total balance. So you never pay more than what you borrow. Isn't that okay?
Again, we're still back to the same question again. Yes, the damage you can do to your account, you can blow your account. That wasn't necessarily my point. My point was the riba. They are giving you a loan that they are getting benefit from. And that is riba. Even if you just blow your account. And when I say blow your account, maybe what you could do, imagine you have £1,000 in the account, but you only leveraged £10. You only bought £10 thing and you haven't blown the whole account. I mean, like I said, you can reword it much as you like. You can restructure your trade much as you like, but just ask yourself two questions: did I borrow money for this trade? And obviously, that borrowing money will come with riba. And if the answer is no, great. And is it mine? That's just two questions. Go on. Next one.
Can we short sell cryptos?
So again, Abubakar was thinking, what's this short sell? What's this long sell? What's this next? Anyway, shorting again, something I'm not going to get too technical. In brief, the word short means when you make a trade. Listen carefully. When this is funny, for those that don't know what it is, it's funny. It's basically when you make a trade whereby you make profit when it's losing. So imagine I bought dollars, yeah, and as I bought dollars, the price went down, didn't go up. As normally you buy something, you want to go up in it, so you make money. But imagine you bought the dollars and you went down, so you should be losing money. But if you're short, you're actually making money. I'm not going to explain how, because that's a whole new dust. But short selling, as it's practiced in the market, is haram. Because again, you're selling something that's not yours. I don't want to make it a long discussion, but that's a short, brief answer. In Islam, again, you can buy and sell whatever is yours. Back to the same question again: do I own it? Is it mine? So if I had dollars and it was my dollars, and I wanted to increase in the amount of dollars I have, I could sell the dollars for pounds. So when it drops, I can buy back in cheaper. Yeah, that's fine. But as long as the dollars you had to do that was yours, and when you bought back in, again, it was yours. So yeah, you could do that. But whoever's asking about the shorts, who knows what shorting is, you're not what you're shorting is not your money. You're borrowing money again, and you're making money from borrowed money, and they're making money as well, or lose or whatever. So that's just the answer. Any more questions?
Can you give us a checklist when borrowing money? At what point does it become riba? Because not all loans are haram. I mean, that was kind of. I mean, a lot of these questions have already been answered by yourself, so that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Brother, very important rule, brother. It doesn't matter how silly a question might sound. It's still important to address it because, like I said, maybe I misworded it. Maybe you had prior knowledge that made it clearer to you, whereas others didn't have it. So I never think of a question as a bad question, or I try not to anyway. So yeah, borrowing money, first and foremost, I've been teaching people for the longest while that we as Muslims need to get out of the control structure. We are in a system of control made, developed, nurtured, formed, fashioned by the kuffar on the basis of their batil aqidah and business, not based on Islamic ideals and structure. Islam has a certain method and a way in which you can make money. We as Muslims need to believe in that method, ikhwan. Listen carefully. We need to change our mindset and we need to start believing in Islam. Not just believe in Islam because believe in the angels, believe in the books and believe in qadr. And yeah, that part is easy. Believing in the qadr and stuff, that's the easy part because that doesn't affect the bottom line. That doesn't affect your bank balance. But when it comes to believing in Islam in our trade, you find many people start faltering. We need to start believing in Islam, even when we see gains. We see the Lambos, we our mates in the new Audis and in the Gucci's, and if you think to yourself, I want a piece of that. We need to believe in Islam and believe that this stuff is nonsense, it's false, it's haram, and it's evil. And if we don't believe in that, all that's going to happen, and I see it all the time, all that's going to happen is that all we're going to do is we're just going to try and find avenues to still continue the same nonsense. So it's not surprising whereby I just explained for about an hour why and how leverage and Forex is haram. But yet we still have questions trying to make it halal. By the way, this is not faulting anyone, by the way. I'm not trying to make anyone faulting harm. This is just something that it's being human. We see something happening, we want to try and find a way to make it work. And I get that. But what we need to start doing is to start changing the mindset. we have to acknowledge first and foremost, our mindset is structured based on our environment. We were born and bred. Listen carefully, everyone. We were born and we were bred in this Western environment of credit. You want to make money, you get a loan. It is taught in schools, it's taught in universities, it's taught on TV. You want to start a business, the first step is to write a business model, business plan. Why do you write a business plan? So you can take it to the bank and get a loan. It is the first thing you do. When you go to university and you land a good job, the very first step, the next thing you do is you start looking at getting a house on mortgage. Everything we do in our society is built around leverage. So it's not a surprise whereby there are many people right here, right now, listen to me thinking to themselves, this guy's insane. He's off his rocker. He's chatting rubbish. He's not living on planet Earth. How can you live without exchange? I know people are thinking that. But this is the point. We need to start saying to ourselves, no, I'm not going to still persist in this nonsense, this fallacy, this false market of leverage. I'm Muslim and Islam teaches me certain things. From the things it teaches me is that riba is haram. Islam teaches us that riba is many 70 odd levels. The lowest level of riba is like marrying your mother. That's the lowest level. So we start looking into ourselves, stop looking at how can we achieve the leverage without the leverage, and start looking at, wait, how can I do things Islamically? How does Islam say you must make money? And let me do that. So the first thing is that Islam says riba is haram. That's the first thing. But on top of that, Islam highly discourages loans. It doesn't say it's haram, by the way, but it highly discourages loans. Why do I say that? The Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had a companion, and we know the companions are the best people after the prophets in history of mankind. They were the best. But yet when one companion died and he had a loan on his back, the Messenger of Allah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to the companions, Sallu ala sahibikum, you go and pray upon your sahib. Almost distancing himself from him being a sahabi. I mean, look at the language, ikhwan. Listen carefully. I'm not here trying to bash anyone. I'm saying, look at the language the Messenger of Allah used. He says, Sallu ala sahibikum. Pray on your sahib. This is saying, almost to say, it's not even enough to do with me. This person is nothing to do with me, nor is he my sahib. Subhanallah. And the severity that some of the companions said, Ya Rasulullah, oh Messenger of Allah, don't worry. I will cover his debts. I will cover his debt, don't worry. And only when that was said, then the Messenger of Allah said, okay, I'll pray over him. Only once his debt was settled, he prayed over him. That's how severe debts are. Debts is a means of last resort. It is not the basis of trade. It's what you do when you have no other option. Otherwise, live within your means and trade within your means. And if you want to, and if you have means to trade, but you want to leverage up, you could say, the avenue Islam has given us is musharaka, business transaction, investment, take investment, share the risk. We have avenues. We have avenues. So look at those avenues and stop trying to achieve the like I said, it's the mindset. It's not your fault. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm saying it's because this is where we live. We live in a society where that's the norm, and we need to start learning about the new norm. And that's what we want to. That's what we're going to be teaching in these courses. So we started off with that with course number 1. We're going to continue on with course number 2, which is Bitcoin. And we have 7. Listen carefully, everyone. We've got 7 parts to this Islamic finance course. 7 parts. We've already done part number 1. Part number 2 is Bitcoin. Part number 3 is this here, trade. How do you do Islamic trade in all its avenues and facets, including investment? How do I raise capital to do trade? All that, we're going to cover that. Part number 4 is living the life. If I've got cryptocurrencies, how do I spend it? How do I live life on crypto? How do I do that? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a number on my phone. How do I use it? How do I maintain my privacy? How do I live? Basically, how do I live the life? That's what it's called. Number 5 talks about Islamic economy on a macro scale, on an economic scale, to governments, countries, international trade. Part number 6 deals with trading. What I just said here, trading, reading the charts, reading the economy, reading moving averages, falling wedges, all that kind of stuff. Trading on anything, stocks, shares, bonds, CFDs, whatever. How do you do that stuff if it's halal? And the final one, number 7, talks about other cryptocurrencies other than crypto, Bitcoin, mostly to do with programmable money. But again, that makes more sense later on down the line. Let's just deal with number 2 for now. So my point is, these courses we've got kind of planned for you, these are courses that will literally give you, I feel like I sound like a salesman, stuff Allah. These courses will literally give you the basis for the future in terms of trade. I'm not trying to sell it like a business. I'm just passionate myself. Everyone knows me. Again, anyone who knows me and knows how I behave, this is how I behave. Even those who have no interest in buying Bitcoin, even those who actually have Bitcoin, this is how I am, because I love the topic. I love economic. I love trade. I love all of this. It's just how I am. But yeah, that's just next question. Come on, next question.
Next question is, let's have a look through. Is CFD halal?
No. So those who don't know what CFD is, CFD, and that's one of the things that, listen everyone, make your life easy. Make life easy. We are here to help you. If you try and do things on your own, eventually you will learn, but along the way you probably burn yourself quite often. There are people in the crypto sphere, in the crypto world, and even the trading world, who know what's going on and been through all the ups and downs and stuff, and they would hopefully help you avoid the pitfalls. One of the pitfalls you may come across is what's called CFDs. Now there's an app on the App Store. I think it's called Plus 500, I think it is. And there's another one called eToro. Now basically what they offer you is the ability to trade stocks, shares, bonds, currencies, crypto even, without leverage even, and you can do it from your own phone. All you have to do is open up the app, transfer some money to the account, and you can start trading. They even offer you some of the good features, like you can start trading fake money, as in not real money. It's not real trading, but you can get a taste, you can get a feel of what it means to trade. So you get like a fake £1,000, and you can trade it to see what happens with £1,000. They offer some okay services in that regard, so you can learn. But what most people don't realize is that they have nothing. They don't actually have anything. All they have is your deposit. That's it. So when you buy your stocks, when you buy Apple stocks, when you buy Apple shares, when you buy reals, when you buy Bitcoin, they've got none of it. None of it. The kuffar, they have invented various instruments, they call it financial instruments, to make money. From those instruments, what's called CFDs, or contract for difference. What that means is you are making a bet. You know, a bet like gambling. You're making a bet. If it goes up by this amount, you make profit. If it goes down, you make a loss. And the reason why I say it's a bet is because, again, there's no money there. You don't own anything. That's why I said to you, rule number 1, if I make the trade, do I have the item? Can I withdraw what I bought? And you can't withdraw it from CFD exchanges because they have no coin or stock or whatever. They haven't got anything. They just have numbers on the screen. And when you make a trade, you're betting it will go up, or you're betting it will go down. Sounds odd, but actually that's what it is. And one of the proofs that this is haram, and that's an odd proof, it's a very odd proof, is that in the UK, any profits made by CFDs is tax-free, because in the UK, any money you make from gambling is tax-free. Look at that. The kuffar are just so wrecked. They incentivize and they encourage you to gamble your money away by saying if you make millions and millions of pounds through gambling, you don't pay taxes on it. And CFDs is the same thing. You don't pay no taxes on it because it's a gamble. They know it's a gamble. They don't call it gambling, but they know it's a gamble. So yes, and like I said to you, again, follow these 2 rules, everyone. This is the 2 rules of this whole talk. If you buy it, is it yours? Can I withdraw it? And when I bought it, did I buy it with my own money? Or did I have to borrow money? Ask those 2 questions and you got your answer. That's it. Next question.
Next question, slightly unrelated, I think, but is dropshipping halal? I'm not sure if that's connected to Bitcoin at all.
That is completely unrelated.
Okay.
So let's leave the question just for that one. Dropshipping, I guess maybe we can organize a course about this later on, or a free webinar about that one later on. But for now, let's stick to the trade.
Someone asked, how do you know if you own the money? As I've never used any of these services before. So how do I differentiate between the ones where I actually own the money and the ones where I don't?
So the first answer to the question is, if you don't know, then don't do it. Don't do it. As if you're at that stage where you have no idea how the system works, then don't do it at all until you know. That's the first thing. That's just general advice. Secondly, the way you would know is find out where is the withdraw button, and that's when I looked at Revolut when they introduced this whole crypto thing. And first thing I did was I went to it. I thought, okay, wait, where's the withdraw button? Where's the deposit button? If there's no button there for withdrawal or deposits, then that's it. You've answered your question. You can send a message, say, "Can I withdraw it?" and they'll tell you no. But I mean, there are plenty of ways you can do it. I mean, you can withdraw, but that's just the plain thing. So, for example, there's an app on the App Store called 10x, as in TEN, and then the X, the letter X. That is a very good company. Basically, what they do is that you can have like a debit card, and if you have cryptocurrency on it, you can spend your cryptocurrencies like at the shop, like a Tesco's or anywhere that takes Visa. You can do it. Now, they initially had the card, and then they had some issues with Visa themselves, and then they closed their cards, but they're going to try and get it back on again soon. But back to the point is that on the app though, although you don't have a card anymore, they're going to do it soon on the app. But I'm not paid to promote them, by the way. I'm just saying that there's not a paid promotion. I just like the company. On the app, there is an option to purchase Bitcoin. You can press buy. And then when you choose the amount you want, they ask you your card details, just like a normal transaction, like a normal transaction. And then it processes it like a normal, like you're buying something on Amazon or whatever. And then you would see on the app how much Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin you have. And there's there a withdraw button. You can say withdraw or send. The two words, withdraw or send. And you can send it to any way you want. You can send it to me if you want to. You can send it to me. I welcome it. You can send it to me. You can send it to anyone you want, and someone can send it to you. Maybe you don't want to buy from them. Maybe you already have it. You can deposit it in their app. So that's an example of where you know where you have it, you don't have it. And the same thing happens even with Revolut. Again, I'm using Revolut because it's the easiest example to have, because they actually have foreign exchange integrated into their system. But on there, for example, I can deposit any currency into a Revolut account, and I can also withdraw any currency from their account. So that's proof that I own it. If it isn't that, then you don't own it. That's just a fact. Also, one other thing, time. Time is another thing, which is why, again, crypto is a lot better. When you withdraw, when you're going to get it. If it's going to take you up to 7 days, 7 working days to withdraw something, then something's a bit fishy. But that's just it. Crypto is instant. You withdraw it, it's yours there and then. Moving on. Next question.
Will the course talk about oil and gold trading, and is oil and gold trading halal?
So that's trading commodities, trading things like gold, silver, oil, copper, wheat even. You can do that kind of stuff. So next week's course won't talk about any of that whatsoever. It's talks about Bitcoin. But we will discuss that in course number 5. Is 5? Is it 5? Wait. 5. Yeah, 5 or 6. 5 or 6. We talk about trading. That's particularly talking about trading as a profession, as a thing. Like I said, looking at the charts you have there. How do you read the charts? How do you read the markets? Can you trade that? We will discuss all of that. We'll discuss CFDs. We'll discuss commodities, stocks, shares, bonds, longs, shorts, whatever, futures, options, swaps. We discuss all of that, and whether they are haram or halal. We'll discuss all of that. But that's course number 6. I do advise you to do all 6 because obviously they're all tied to each other. They're all part of the same package. But if you just wanted to learn that only and you knew everything else, then great. That's what it is. Next one.
So please, what's your advice on multiplying our money in a halal way?
Yeah, so that is course number 3. Course number 3 deals with specifically the methods and modes to do trade. How does Islam offer and teach us about earning money? But anyone who's attended course number 1 would know. And by the way, those who are interested, we are going to repeat course number 1 in future. I mean, not now, but in the near future we'll be doing it again. But what we learned in course number 1, and hopefully you guys would take this as a very important lesson to learn. Islam says you must earn money through work. You must do something, ikhwan. Anybody, listen carefully, anybody that teaches you that you can earn X, Y, Z and do nothing, they are lying to you. Listen carefully. Anybody that tells you all you have to do is do this one thing and you'll be a millionaire, spit in their eye. I'm telling you, spit in the eye. Spit with phlegm as well, because they're lying to you. There is no way you can do so in a halal manner. Every manner of earning a halal income involves work and risk. Even Bitcoin, even if you bought somewhere down the bottom here and you sold at the top here, even that there's risk, because you have to, for example, there's issue of supply and demand. There's all that. They're still involved in terms of investment. You have to do your research. You have to do something. There's no way you can make money by doing nothing. You have to earn it through some kind of trade. So, and the first mechanism of earning money is learning how to do it. That's your first task, is to learn. And that's why it really annoys me. Listen carefully, everyone. I'm not saying I hate you. I'm not saying I hate you, anyone specific, but it really annoys me when people say to me, I want to buy Bitcoin, but I don't want to know about Bitcoin. I'm like, oh, come on, man. If you're going to invest money in Bitcoin, at least do yourself the service of learning what the heck it is. You have to educate yourself about making money before you even deserve it or deserve to earn it. And that's why I have no sympathy for people who buy at the top, sell at the bottom, and complain, oh, brother, I bought here and it didn't work, because you didn't learn anything. You don't even know what Bitcoin is. If you had learned, then you would know what to, probably wouldn't have made such a big loss. Learn, ikhwan, nakhawat, learn, education. Moving on, next question. I think we'll make the last couple of questions and then we'll call it a day.
I think that's pretty much, I'm just looking through in terms of the actual questions. That seems to be, if anyone's got any last minute questions, just ask them now. Just a lot of just comments and people just.
Okay, has anyone got any useful comments then? If that's the last couple of things. Any useful comments?
When is Dogecoin going to the moon? Hashtag HODL. No idea what that means.
So Dogecoin is just another coin. Because
Okay.
there's Bitcoin and there are other coins. There's like thousands of cryptocurrencies. Literally everyone. In about within 10 minutes, I can teach you all how to make your own currency. It doesn't take much. Whether it's worth anything, that's another question. But next week we'll discuss that's probably the most important question people have. Why is Bitcoin worth what it is? That's probably the most pertinent question, and the most important question before you even buy the thing or invest in it or move your capital towards it and dump your confetti money, your pounds, your sweetie wrap money, is what makes Bitcoin have value. This is the biggest point that I'm trying to push here. Bitcoin is the future because it's the future. Why is it the future? Next week we'll discuss that. There's just too much to say. So next week, inshallah, we'll learn that.
So I just worked out BTC in the next 2 years will go up by 3,000% by what the brother said earlier. Yeah.
So basically, the issue of it being going up, like I said, anyone and everyone can project where Bitcoin's going to go. It will go up by this amount. It will do this by that amount. And these are all projections, pie in the sky. You know, we all hope it will go by that much. As far as we know, Bitcoin will go down to zero. Who knows? That's neither here nor there. And that's the same with anything, by the way. It's not Bitcoin. The dollar, it could go to zero, and I believe it will go to zero very soon. I mean, it's practically done it already. If you look at the purchasing power of the dollar since 1913, it has already lost 97% of its value. Listen carefully, everyone. You heard me correctly. You heard me right. The American dollar has already lost 97% of its value in 100 years. It's been around since they introduced the central bank. That means if you had $100 back then, it's now worth $3. It's already happened, and it's going to go to zero as a fact. I believe that 100%. So anything can happen. But Why do I and most people believe that Bitcoin's going to go higher? Is because Bitcoin has only 21 million coins that will ever exist. Imagine I said to you, there's only $100 in the world. There's no more than $100 in the world. If I was to divide that dollar by every person that exists, how much would we even have each? Like fractions of a dollar. So imagine, how would you divide 21 million Bitcoins by everybody? And if you were to do that, how much would that be? I mean, if every one person had a Bitcoin, also it had their small fraction, how much would that small fraction be? So the projection of Bitcoin, as more and more people adopt Bitcoin and move towards Bitcoin, as is happening right now, means the price has to go up. Something cataclysmically wrong has to go wrong with Bitcoin for it to go down, or just even stay the same. It's that's just me and my little sales pitch of Bitcoin. But who knows? I'm not a financial advisor, by the way. I'm not a financial advisor, as that slogan says. I'm just saying that if you want to learn about Bitcoin, and decide for yourself whether Bitcoin has value or not has value. That's something you can decide. I can't tell you. You could decide for yourself.
Who creates these different versions of Bitcoins? I think talking about different cryptocurrencies.
Yeah, again, that's a question for next week, because like I said, today we're doing Forex. Who creates Bitcoin? Better question, who creates the dollar? Who creates the pound? I mean, there was a question on the one that on Instagram, one brother mentioned. He reckons that every Muslim country, what they should do, they should make their own currency to compete with the American currency. And as I said to him simply, and who would make that then? And if they made it, who owns it? The question, issue of money is more complicated than people think. It's not just, oh, here we go, here's a new currency, boom, that's it. We have money over thousands of years of market movements. Money didn't come out of nowhere. I mean, now it does when they print it, printing press. But money never came out of nowhere. Money came over a period of time for a lot of hard work. So how, when, where? Next week. Next question. Or next point.
What happens after the 21 million coin? Does that make sense?
Yes. So basically, at the moment, there's only 18 million Bitcoins in existence. Every 10 minutes, 6.5 Bitcoins are being created out of thin air. Again, we'll discuss it next week in more detail. But at some point, no more will be made. And the total cap will be 21 million. So there will never be more than 21 million. That's it. So it is said on the markets that Bitcoin is the most scarce asset mankind has ever known. Scarce meaning rare. There is, as in gold, I can still mine gold out of the earth and no one knows when it will ever end. So no one could tell you what is the total amount of gold in circulation that will ever be. No one could ever tell you that. Whereas Bitcoin, I could tell you that straightforward. There is only going to be 21 million. That is it. There can never be any more than that. I could go to a planet into space and find golden meteorites. There's no end to how much gold I can go and find. But Bitcoin, there's a cap. Next question.
There's a lot of people asking if you personally, deal with cryptocurrencies. But I don't know if you want to answer. That's your personal.
It's irrelevant. That's like saying, is your wife good looking? I mean, who cares? Actually, that happened to me once. Actually, one person actually asked me, "Is your wife good looking?" I'm like, "Bro, are you serious?"
No way.
Do you want a slap or something?
Subhanallah. Someone goes, I'm a broker and Bitcoin is being traded offline, and that's what you don't know. Therefore, Bitcoin is 1000% haram. Stay away. Only halal money is gold and silver.
So what do you say again?
That what you don't know is that Bitcoin is being traded offline. Therefore, it's 1000% haram, and stay away. Only halal money is gold and silver.
Okay, great. So let's deal with that interesting one. So often what you find is the gold bugs, those who actually don't know anything about Bitcoin, they'll have these little trolls every now and again. So number one, why is what this guy said wrong? First and foremost, to make such a bold statement about Bitcoin as a whole is just dumb. I mean, even I never said every single Forex is definitely haram. I gave the conditions and I said to you, if you find these conditions fulfilled, then it's good. And I gave examples of where it's good. But to say all of Bitcoin is traded offline, whatever that even means, then 1,000%, that's what's called hyperbole, exaggeration. And exaggeration is usually example of someone who's lying or is mistaken. That's actually interesting, even in hadith. That's one way of knowing a hadith is fabricated, through hyperbole. If you find a hadith which has excessive reward or excessive punishment, it's actually almost an indication it's haram, it's fake. So to say that it's 100% offline is a lie. Number one, you can buy a Bitcoin off of just like you download what's it called, whatever on these torrents, as in their exchange like Bisq, or you can get things on localbitcoin.com where you buy Bitcoin from people who actually exist. They give you your bank details. You communicate with them. You buy from. So to say that is 100% offline is dumb. And secondly, this whole idea of offline and online, again, that just demonstrates that the person hasn't actually understood what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin isn't on any line. I can send you Bitcoin via telephone call, via text message, via satellite. I can write a letter on a piece of paper and send Bitcoin. I'm not even joking. Bitcoin is a language. It is not a digital program. But again, next week we'll discuss what that is, and you'll understand what I mean by that. But thanks for that troll. And my counter troll to you is that more gold is traded in paper form that actually exists. So those who say that only real money is gold, again, either they have no idea what they're talking about, or they're just lying. Most gold, and this is a fact, this is a statistical and a real fact, you can check it online. Most gold traded on planet Earth is paper gold. It's not even real gold. It's worse. It's just the same as what people think money is. It's pieces of paper to gold that doesn't exist. So I'll leave that one, Charlotte. That's my little counter troll to that one. Next one.
Someone said, how do you actually withdraw the Bitcoin, and how would you know if you can withdraw it? So when you say withdraw,
again,
what does that actually mean?
That question is, I can never answer that without going in a second. I mean, it's you have to understand what Bitcoin is. If I put it this way, if I have a wallet, a Bitcoin wallet, yeah, just there's a thing called a wallet. If I have a wallet and I send Bitcoin to that wallet, Bitcoin will now be in that wallet and not where it was. That's how you know. Just like if I sent a letter, if I sent a letter to you, oh, bro, if I wrote a letter to you, yeah. I said to you, brother, assalamu alaikum, Allah for the sake of Allah, may Allah make you a great person, mashallah. You know, a letter in it. I wrote a letter to you, yeah, and yeah. I posted it in the post box. It's now left my hand, and I've gone to you. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it works with Bitcoin. How I'll explain next week, but I can't just do it to you now. I mean, that's how you know. It's hard to understand. Like I said, it's a paradigm shift issue. But once you understand the miraculous of Bitcoin, you will really understand how it works. Next one.
I think how a blockchain's created. I think this is all stuff for the actual course. Yeah. I'm guessing. I think pretty much. I think we can wrap it up there, inshallah.
Well, thanks for having me, brother. I think it was nice. I feel good talking about Bitcoin. You know me. I rant on and on like a broken record. But it's just me. I have my OCD. When I find something I really feel passionate about, I go over the top sometimes. But I can't express to you guys how serious I am about this. If you really, really feel serious about taking your money or your wealth out of this corrupt system, saying no to riba and no to all this madness that's going on, sign next week, inshallah, and find out how you can do that. Do it.
So it's probably I heard someone once say that Bitcoin is actually more halal than the pounds and dollars that we use today. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's what we said in the part one, or we kind of hinted to part one. The money that we have in our wallets, and in our bank accounts, that all that money came into existence through riba. the basis is riba. It's formed and fashioned through riba. Whereas Bitcoin did not. How it came into fashion, we'll talk about it on Saturday. But when they say how, Bitcoin is very much like gold. You have to earn it to have it. Whereas our money we have now is not like gold. Nobody earns pounds when it comes to existence. You just create it out of thin air. Banks will type in the computer screen X amount, and then boop, there is existed. So yeah, if you want to compare Bitcoin to the confetti money or the sweetie wrap money, that money is made up because the government said it's there, or because some private company says it's there. Whereas Bitcoin, you actually have to do something. You have to earn it through work, hard labor. Next week, inshallah. I think we'll call it quits here because I need to breathe. I haven't breathed for about 2 hours.
No problem, inshallah. So we'll leave it there, and then hopefully we'll be sending out an email regarding the next webinar, which will be on Tuesday, regarding iBoomerang and whether or not that's permissible going into the system there. So I think that will be an interesting one, inshallah.
No, jazakallah khairan.
Wa jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.